I will be making reference to the Diaspora 60 scoop map, the one that has all of the trailings of where everybody was sent. Margot and I can work on the photos to get them ready. My name is Karen Recollet, Karynreckollet.
What, if anything, do you remember of your life before you were adopted?
I don't remember anything. I would have been less than 1.
Based on our experiences of like meeting with adoptees and survivors over the years and what their fears are of what's being asked of them, like their traumas, or even having to talk about their adoptive families when they're not ready to talk about their adoptive families.
Well, for me, like I was raised for a short time at the Friendship Center in Saskatoon. My first powwow was 7 years old, and I know that wasn't with everybody.
My name is Barbara Elk Arthur, but I go by my family name, which is Barbara Hihachasecha, which is Bad Elk.
My name is Jack Martin, Jackmartin.
So your parents never took you to any powwows while you were growing up?
No.
You know about the different types of dances, right? So what's the one dance you would have liked to have learned as a kid if we had stayed with the family?
Really, tell you the truth, I don't even know really the chicken or the.
When I was taken, it was 1975. I was 5 years old, and that morning, it was a sunny day. My mom had left my dad, and she took all of us kids, and it was right only up the road, so we always saw our dad anyway. That morning, she walked up the road, waved to us. She was going on her way up to her relatives, and not too long after she had left, my older sister came running into the living room entryway and yelled out at all of us to run, hide, they're here, they're here. And when she meant by they, yeah, it's the social workers that would come to the house. Previously, they always rolled up in the screen car, and so we ran and hid, and somebody scooped my little brother Jack up, and everybody went running. I went into my mom's room, which was on the first floor. Saw my sister Lori already underneath the bed, and she's waving to me, scared. I went behind the doorway, and there wasn't many places to hide. We didn't have much furniture, but everything was so clean. My mom always kept the house very clean. So I hid behind the door. I could hear my other brothers and sisters running up the steps. Everyone's yelling, and there's lots of commotion with lots of shh, shh. And then I heard the banging of the kitchen door. There's the banging and the yelling, open the door. And the door opened, and I could hear the butter knife clanging onto the floor. As an adult, being a parent to 2 young children of these kids who are dancing now, I wasn't quite sure about my identity. Because I had gotten so many mixed signals while in a white family that I had to get over the fact of hating myself during those years. I learned how to hate myself because I'd been talked down to by my white family, and to look upon my traditions, my culture with disgust.
This is the powerful youth making our generation stronger and making everyone notice that we're here and we're still alive.
Tristan, that was a good dance. You did good. Did you eat? They're not feeding you?
They're not even
Mario, where'd you travel? Where'd you go?
I was in Edmonton.
You're not dancing?
is. I have to deliver her outfit.
Soon. That's good. I'm always like every child in care should be here, irregardless of like as kids, it wasn't our fault, right? It's not our fault. So when our children are at a children's powwow, it's celebrating this place of when we were children, or the present day children, or the children that are coming. And these drums are calling them. And that in itself is a place of like, stay in that eastern doorway, this good light, right? Hey, fancy meeting you here. So beautiful.
Follow Uncle Arena Director Extraordinaire. Also, drumstick maker. Beautiful first song.
22,000, is that what the number was? Being taken away from their families?
It's a lot. It's staggering, and I think it's heart and mind work where you stop and you just, it gives you pause. Like it makes you think about, it makes me think about my own children and how much I love them and how much I want this for them.
Like we're navigating ourselves back. And not everybody's an dancer, and that's okay. Not everybody's a drummer, and that's okay. Not everybody even knows the protocol or the teachings, but even just to be present here is just like groundwork.
So the 60 Scoop Network has been working for the past 8 years. And this time we're having a gathering just actually around the corner.
The questions are in a way that adoptees can kind of direct how they want to tell the story and how much they want to share. So that was important.
And then I've got family all over the place. I've got a sister in the Bronx.
Oh, really?
My grandmother came from Onion Lake, Cree Nation.
Hi everybody, we're going to start soon. We're going to go 5 minutes. We're going to start in like 5 minutes.
The thing about a 60 scoop star blanket that I've been noticing is there's these beautiful children that kind of peek at you when you're unfolding these photo transfer sheets, and you don't really know what the eyes are going to look like. Well, you do from the photo, but it's different when you're kind of unfolding a baby, and then you really notice their eyes kind of peeking at you, and it's almost like all these folks, all these babies, really didn't have those kinds of immediate kinships with their Indigenous families. But when they're assembled in sort of these kind of like fractals, then it's like these are kinship.
Things that we talk about as survivors, adoptees, is trauma porn, right? So time and time again, we see the media extracting interviews and portraying us as victims, or these poor Indigenous people. They went through so much, like, and we're on display. And there needs to be room in there for, look at us, how well we're doing now too. Look at what we've been through, but look at what we're doing now. You know, it's not all bad. Sure, bad stuff happened to us, but we're doing okay. And we have a say in how our stories are told. You know, sometimes media will take that story and change it into a narrative that fits their agenda, right? And we want to make sure that our stories are authentic.
The 60 Scoop was a genocidal act upon Indigenous people to take away our spirit, to take away our life, to take away who we are, our strengths. And I feel like the reason why those acts, those programs come into being is because we are powerful. We are connected to the land, we are connected to each other, we are connected to spirit. The 60 scoop is nothing but a piece of burnt paper off to the side. It didn't break us. It was a horrible, horrible program meant to annihilate our spirits. But I love the resiliency of the Indigenous people because it shows that nothing can stop us. We will find our way home. But with each act that comes about, with each program, I feel like the people behind these, they're unknowingly creating an army of Indigenous warriors who've had enough. Because we're going to fight against this, fight against the taking of our spirit, taking of our children. We're just gathering each other. We're getting bigger and stronger. Even though I cry because it's painful memories. I'm full of burning anger and strength. But I'm like the nicest person too. I feel like I'm the nicest person. So I just thank every endeavor there is, like Colleen and Elaine and everyone that's involved with the 60 Scoop Network, including you, for helping me and my brother, Jack. Yes, he was found. Right, Jack?
We should point out that you were both reintroduced this weekend, right?
Yes, yes.
Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, hi.
Wish you could come in here.
Jack, would you like to come in? I should move into the chair, Jack, please. So, earlier testimony, Jack, do you have thoughts on the reunion?
Reunion. Well, this is actually the very first time I met my sister Barbara. And I'm 48 years old.
Yeah, last time I saw you, you were a baby.
Yeah, so...
1 year old.
So all of our lives, we haven't seen each other.
Yeah.
Until this weekend.
You stopped drooling, so that's a good thing.
It's like they robbed you of so much. Can you put that to words?
Rob is not a word. Taken. Dismantled. Uncultured. Unhumanized. Just some of the words that just comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Loss of memories.
Yeah.
I have no memories.
No Christmas holidays, no family gatherings of Thanksgiving, nothing.
Right. Right.
Yes. I'm not a very emotional person. Never was. I am today. Well, it's weekend.
Yeah, when it was funny, it was not funny, but so Colleen kept after me about coming to this gathering. And so finally in the early February, you know, I was just like thinking about it. And so second week of February, I think that was it. I called her up and I said, I'm just doing it. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Yes, I will come. And she's like, oh, great. And it wasn't until like,
a week and a half, 2 weeks later, that I was thinking, oh gosh, I think my brother lives in Ottawa. What? Okay, so I contacted Colleen, and so they connected. You guys were able to connect, and so yeah, it was a nice surprise to hear that he was, had a room here and he was going to be part of the event. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm not thinking of it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it because it was just too much. And when I got here, I couldn't meet him right away. I couldn't meet him right away. It was like a day and a half being here. I was terrified. I was terrified of meeting him because it would be too much emotionally. Because
You're little Jack. Oh no, not that anymore. You're big Jack.
Oh, I'll never be that one.
Sorry, just have to see you big.
I missed him. I missed him. I missed him for so long. But you don't forget your siblings. And I always worried about him where he was. Because all of the other siblings were found. And we all worried about him. Because he was the baby. So when my heart was beating so fast when Saturday morning, and he said, oh, Jack's out in the lobby area. And I was so nervous. I was so nervous, right? It was really hard to focus on anything. And I was like joking with Colleen, walking out the door into the lobby area, joking, just like looking at her, focusing on her. And then he was there. And it was just, the feeling is, there you are. At last, there you are.
When it comes to the country of Canada and their policies, have you found forgiveness?
Forgiveness, that's a big topic that everyone wants to touch on. Personally, for me, I surpassed that a long time ago. I'm not here to get forgiveness. I just need someone to explain and take accountability. I don't need someone to say sorry to me. How's that going to help us? How's that going to help me? How's that going to help others? How's that going to help the ones that are buried? It's not going to help anyone. Just accountability. Take what you need to do in your life to make it happen. Help us down our road that we need to do. And we'll make our own channel. We'll make our own way. We will let us be us. And you just stop telling us who we should be. Just, this is us. And that's all you guys need to know. So forgiveness? No. Just let us be us.
Hear, hear. Definitely no forgiveness.